Mathieu Raynal joins growing backlash against Super Rugby Pacific's 2026 law changes. Former Test referee Mathieu Raynal has become the latest influential voice to publicly oppose Super Rugby Pacific's proposed law changes for the 2026 season, adding further weight to a widening international backlash against what critics see as a unilateral and philosophically divisive experiment. Super Rugby Pacific's organizers have framed the five law innovations as progressive measures designed to increase ball-in-play time, reduce stoppages, and inject greater tempo and spectacle into the competition. In announcing the changes, tournament officials claimed they had the emphatic support of clubs, match officials, and stakeholders, presenting the package as both widely endorsed and carefully considered. Yet reaction beyond Australia and New Zealand has been swift, skeptical, and increasingly vocal. From South Africa to France, senior referees, law advisors, and administrators have questioned both the substance of the changes and the motivations behind them. Raynal's intervention, in particular, has sharpened the sense that the sport may be drifting toward a fractured future, where hemispheres not only play differently but subscribe to fundamentally different interpretations of rugby's values. What Super Rugby is proposing, the law trials at the center of the controversy touch on some of rugby's most sensitive pressure points: rucks, scrums, quick taps, penalty tries, and the role of the television match official, TMO. Among the most debated proposals are the replacement of certain penalties with free kicks for technical infringements, including accidental offside situations, a 5-second limit for using the ball at caterpillar rucks or box kicks, with a free kick awarded if the attacking team fails to comply. Adjustments to how referees award penalty tries, with an emphasis on maintaining continuity rather than automatic sanctions. A renewed directive to limit TMO involvement and reduce lengthy reviews. Super Rugby believes these measures will discourage negative tactics, speed up restarts, and keep the game flowing. But critics argue that the changes risk producing the opposite effect: more kicking, more structure, more confusion, and less fairness. Jaco Peyper sounds the alarm. One of the earliest and most detailed critiques came from Jaco Peyper, the former South African Test referee who now serves as a law advisor within the Springboks backroom staff. Speaking on the Rassi Plus podcast alongside Springboks assistant coach Felix Jones, Peyper questioned the underlying assumptions driving the trials, particularly the idea that free kicks are inherently faster or more attacking than penalties. The intention here is to keep the game dynamic, Peyper acknowledged. That's what I think. But with a free kick replacing accidental offsides, if you don't use the ball within 5 seconds of the caterpillar ruck or the box kick, give a free kick and take the scrum away. In my experience in refereeing, if you give a free kick to the team that's not in possession, it slows down the game. Peyper's point cuts to the heart of the issue. While penalties often create immediate attacking opportunities through quick taps, free kicks usually do the opposite. Teams tend to pause, organize, and default to territory rather than risk. That means they're not going to have the quick tap option, Peyper continued. They're probably going to wait to organize their team and kick an up and under. So there are a lot of people calling for fewer kicks. With this, we're most likely going to add kicks, unless the free kick is given to the team that already has possession. For Peyper, the proposed solutions appear to misunderstand how elite teams actually behave under pressure. Far from liberating attacking rugby, they may encourage safer, more conservative choices. Raynal enters the debate. Mathieu Raynal's intervention has amplified those concerns significantly. Unlike Peyper, Raynal now operates outside the matchday spotlight, working as head of the high-performance unit for refereeing at the French Rugby Federation, FFR. His perspective is therefore both technical and strategic, shaped by years at the top level and by an intimate understanding of how refereeing frameworks shape playing styles. Speaking on Sud Radio, Raynal framed the debate not merely as a disagreement over law tweaks, but as a philosophical clash between hemispheres. They, the Southern Hemisphere, want more passing, more tries, less time spent in mauls and scrums, Raynal said. Whereas we, the Northern Hemisphere, defend these specific elements and are against directions being set by the Southern Hemisphere. The remark goes well beyond officiating mechanics. It speaks to a long-simmering tension within global rugby, Whether the sport should be streamlined into a faster, entertainment-first product, or whether its complexity, physical contests, and set-piece battles are integral to its identity. Raynal was blunt in his assessment of why Super Rugby feels compelled to experiment so aggressively. "Our championship works," he said, referring to France's top 14. "Our stadiums are full. Rugby is more watched than football in the country. We don't want to follow directions coming from countries where stadiums are empty, where they're trying to recreate spectacle and bring people back to stadiums at any cost, even if it means sacrificing fairness and the principle of player safety." Those comments struck a nerve at a debate about success, and failure. Raynal's remarks resonated because they touched on an uncomfortable truth. While Super Rugby Pacific has delivered thrilling moments, it has also struggled with declining attendances, fractured franchises, and competition fatigue. The collapse of the Melbourne Rebels only reinforced perceptions that the Southern Hemisphere club model is under strain. By contrast, the top 14 is booming. French rugby enjoys packed stadiums, lucrative broadcast deals, and a strong domestic identity rooted in local rivalry and physical confrontation. England's Premiership and the United Rugby Championship, while facing challenges of their own, also continue to place value on set pieces, mauls, and tactical kicking battles. For many Northern administrators, the idea that they should remodel their competitions to address problems specific to Super Rugby feels not only unnecessary but counterproductive. The concern is not innovation itself. Rugby has always evolved, but the speed and scope of change and the perception that one competition is attempting to set a global agenda without consensus. The refereeing perspective. What makes the criticism from Raynal and Peyper particularly potent is that it comes from referees, not coaches or pundits. Referees understand better than most how law changes translate from paper to pitch. Both men emphasize that players and teams adapt rapidly, often in ways lawmakers do not anticipate. A rule designed to encourage attacking play can quickly become a tool for game management, time control, or tactical kicking. There's also the issue of consistency. If Super Rugby referees are instructed to apply laws differently from their counterparts in Europe or Test Rugby, players moving between competitions will face confusion and mixed messages. That problem becomes acute at international level, where players conditioned under divergent systems are suddenly judged under a single global interpretation. The TMO questioned Super Rugby's recommitment to limiting TMO intervention has been more cautiously received, with many agreeing that excessive reviews can drain momentum and frustrate spectators. However, critics warn that reducing oversight, while simultaneously introducing new interpretations, could increase controversy rather than reduce it. That Raynal's reference to fairness and player safety is particularly relevant here. With concussion protocols, foul play thresholds, and head contact frameworks under constant scrutiny, any reduction in review processes must be handled with extreme care. The translation that went viral. Raynal's comments gained further traction when a translated version was shared on social media by David Wessels, SA Rugby's general manager for high performance. Wessels, who previously served as head coach of the now-defunct Melbourne Rebels, occupies a unique position in the debate, having worked extensively within the Super Rugby system while now operating from a South African administrative base. The translation spread rapidly, fueling debate across hemispheres and reinforcing the sense that opposition to the law trials is not isolated or reactionary, but deeply rooted and international. The bigger picture at its core, the controversy surrounding Super Rugby Pacific's 2026 law changes is about more than rucks, free kicks, or 5-second limits. It is about who rugby is for, what it should look like, and how change should be governed. Should competitions tailor laws to their own commercial realities, even if that risks divergence from the global game? Or should World Rugby enforce tighter alignment, even if that limits innovation?